Hello, welcome to Learn the Secret of the Rich, Save U.S. Taxes Legally. I'm going to start off with three simple questions. In chat, please put yes or no. Number one, do you want to save taxes year after year, generation after generation? Again, in chat, please put yes or no. Question number two, do you want to leave a legacy for future generations? Again, put yes or no into the chat. Not too hard, a yes or no. And question number three, I can't stop you from being sued, but do you want to have all lawsuits become frivolous and go away and never have to worry about them again? Again, please put yes or no into the chat. So, you're here to learn about the Spendthrift Trust. So let's let you know it's legal. It's in the IRS Tax Code 643B. It's been in front of the United States U.S. Supreme Court on two separate occasions and it's won both times. So let me share my screen. Excuse me. The Spendthrift Trust comes from England way back when King Henry VIII, that famous king who chopped off his wives' heads, started the Church of England. He murdered a few ladies, started church. He went to go tax the lords and ladies of England. They went back to the 13th century to the Magna Carta and said, oh, no, 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 King Henry VIII, you can't do this. It's contract law that came from England to the United States while we were still a colony. The law firm I work on behalf of inherited trust that turned 350 years old in 2023. We're now in January of 2026, so the trust is 353 years old. This comes from England. Our current tax structure that we're under went into effect February of 1913. It was only supposed to be around for a few years. Unfortunately, we got involved in World War II, and our tax structure has only grown and grown and grown and grown since then. The super rich families of 1913, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, the Kennedys, made sure they could save taxes. Well, I'm here to tell you, so can we. Whoops. Go down, page down. Now, if you talk to your CPA or your financial advisor, I can almost guarantee you they're going to get the memo the IRS published on August 3rd of 2023. The IRS actually says they do not like Tax Code 643B. They do not like the Irrevocable, Complex, Discretionary, Non-Grantor Spendthrift Trust. That's their opinion. The IRS cannot change the tax code. Only Congress can. Too many presidents, too many senators, too many congresspeople, and too many other constituents know about the Spendthrift Trust. Now you're going to know the secret. Now these 5 elements are super important. Irrevocable. This means it goes from generation to generation to generation. The Rockefeller Spendthrift Trust is 7 generations old. People ask, is it hard to get things in and out of the trust? Absolutely not. Personally, I have both the business and beneficial trust, and I have wholesaled 28 properties in my beneficial trust. I just have to sign my name, Sally Gimmon, TTE, trustee of the trust, to sign the paperwork. Second part, complex. This trust can hold money from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, decade to decade, century to century. 97% of the trusts sold in the United States are what my mom and dad had, or what Susie Orman talks about on PBS television, the family trust or the living trust. There's nothing wrong with the family trust or the living trust. It avoids probate and then it dissolves. My mom passed away first, then my dad. After my father passed away, everything went away. Their house was in their name. When we sold the house, my 2 brothers and I, we had to pay taxes on the house. The Spendthrift Trust, we wouldn't have had to do this. So again, what my mom and dad had is not what I'm talking about here today. Discretionary. Whoever is the trustee or trustees can make the rules for the beneficiaries while they're alive and also from the grave. There's no infighting, there's no contesting the will or anything else. One of my clients, a husband and wife with 4 apartment buildings in Los Angeles, they have an adult daughter. They're allowing to live rent-free in one of the apartments, but she has to do 4 random drug tests. The daughter actually took her mom and dad to federal court to sue them, saying it was unconstitutional. The judge read through the trust and he told her she has 2 options. Option A, move out, pay her own rent, or option B, pass the drug tests, but there's nothing he could do for it. I do not want to be invited to their house for dinner at any time. Non-Grantor. This makes the trust 100% private. When you start the trust, you're going to have someone who is never going to be a beneficiary or never be a trustee, sign up to be the grantor or the settler for the trust. When my mom and dad started the Gimmon Family Trust, the living trust they had, original name, both my mom and dad were the grantors and the settlers of the trust. With this becomes completely private. Personally, I used a family friend, Roy, who knew me before I was born. He signed both my business and beneficial trust as a non-grantor. Only thing that they will find out is the name of the trust, and it's based out of Texas because that's where the law firm is. And then the last part, the spendthrift. This has been in front of the United States Supreme Court on 2 separate occasions, and it's won both times. Now, I know we're in 2026, but I'm showing you 2025 tax brackets because quietly on January 1st, the IRS changed things. There's 4 ways to file your taxes. Most expensive way is single. Then it's head of household. You're divorced but have children 18 or younger living in your house. Then it's married filing separately. And then cheapest way is married filing jointly. Check out what they did on January 1st of 2025. They took married filing separately and matched it to single all the way down to 35% tax bracket. So just taking it at 24% tax bracket, if you're married filing separately, your tax bracket starts at $103,351 compared to double that at $206,701. You learn nothing else from this presentation. If you're married, please file jointly. Now this is 2026 tax bracket. Excuse me, I've got a cold, so I'm going to just like reload. Now I sold 3 trusts in October, and the tax brackets weren't out yet. So I redid. They bought the trusts in October of 2025, and I redid the numbers for 2026. The highest amount that of the 3 different trusts, they were going to save $212 for the full year. I'm not making fun of $212 for the full year off of President Trump's big beautiful bill or whatever it's called, but divide that by 12, it's not that much savings. They're saving so much more with the Spendthrift Trust. Now, this is a presentation that I did in Arizona earlier this month. I took $100,000 gross and Arizona state income taxes of 2.5%. If you're single or married filing separately with the Spendthrift Trust, you would save $17,847. If you make more than $100,000 a year, you'll save even more than that. Head of household, you'll save $16,321. Or married filing jointly, you would save $13,371. Again, 43 states have state income taxes. 7 states do not. South Dakota, Tennessee, Florida, Texas, and I forget the other 2. But when you make an appointment with me, I'll let you know. Now, this is a true story. This gentleman called me on January 3rd last year, 2025. He knew in 2024 he made $150,000 as a 1099 sales employee. He had nothing to show for it. He was in the Army. He drove a 10-year-old car. He lived in an apartment with 2 roommates, and the money just went through his fingers. When I talked to him on January 3rd, he thought he was going to be making a lot more than $150,000 in 2025. We used $150,000 as to give him an idea. At 90% savings, that would be $25,962. And then plus Virginia state income taxes of 5.75%, an additional $8,625. For the full year, he got to save $34,587, or per month, an extra $2,882. He could put this back into his business as a salesman. He could, he's buying a house, to be honest, he's buying a house. He could give to his favorite charity. He could save for retirement. He could do whatever he wants with the money. He's going to put a lump sum of $34,000 down on a townhouse in Northern Virginia this year. Now, I'm telling you how to save taxes, but I want to tell you a little bit of my story. My watershed month was October of 2018. 3 major things happened for me. I'm living in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm working as a Medicare broker. Open enrollment, if you don't know about Medicare, is from October 7th to December 5th. My oldest nephew, Gregory, was getting married in Charlotte on October 27th, Saturday, and I requested the Friday before the wedding and the Monday after the wedding off because I had friends and family coming in from all over the world. I had the time saved up, and they said no. Second thing that happened, my 3-week-old, brand new 2018 Hyundai Veloster with a moonroof. I'm driving to work on Indian School Road, be at work at 7 o'clock in the morning. The second car threw on a green light when some idiot runs a red light, T-bones me on my passenger side. He has no insurance. If you know Phoenix, very little public transportation. I had the paperwork for gap insurance sitting on my kitchen table because I had 4 weeks to fill it out and it was only 3 weeks old. I had to get a second car and I'm upside down. Third thing that happened, my mom and dad, who lived in Goodyear, Arizona, 25 miles west of Phoenix, drove from Goodyear to Charlotte for the wedding because they were taking a lot of things with them. My dad calls Thursday before the wedding to say my mom's in the emergency room. He does not know what's wrong. Do not change my flight. Still come in at 7:20, do a red eye, and come in at 7:20 on the day of the wedding. I landed. I had my backpack. That's all I had with me. Gregory, the groom, his younger brother Aiden, and my dad were there. We went off to IHOP for breakfast. The two boys went back to the house. My dad took me to the hospital, and I walked in on the priest giving my mom last rites. I was not ready for that. It ended up that she had septic in the blood or blood poisoning. It got into her pacemaker. They had to do open heart surgery, take out her old pacemaker, put in a new one. She was on the ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital 15 months, and thank God she got home safely. So I purposely bought this property, a bank-owned reverse mortgage house, for $20,000 in July of 2020 because my mom was in North Carolina. I could write it off of my taxes. I knew it was going to go to auction for $50,000. When I didn't tell you the rest of my story. I became a real estate investor in late 2018. And in 2019, I wholesaled 7 bank-owned properties nationwide, paid off $184,000 in debt. I was a rock star in my real estate group, and I had $50,000 in my bank account for short-term capital gains. on April 4th of 2020, my CPA called to congratulate me and told me my tax bracket went from 22% to 24%, and I owed the federal government $194,000 in short-term capital gains. Congratulations. Are you serious? A fantastic book to read is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. It's one of my favorite books. I went to bed that night on April 4th of 2020 crying. I woke up 5 a.m. on April 5th. I knew I was going to contact a friend of mine who did HELOCs and paid off houses, who defeats the purpose of being paid off. And I knew I had read an article about the Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust. I started researching this, and I didn't start my business and my Beneficial Spendthrift Trust until September of 2020. I also started teaching in my real estate group in Phoenix how other investors could save taxes. Fast forward 18 months, I had a falling out with the gentleman who ran the real estate group. He cheated me out of $5,000 and canceled my mastermind where he was making money off of me. And my Thinking to Results coach, Susan Ma, gave me 3 things to do: move, find a new real estate group, and start my own business. I said, not jokingly, tell me to lose 10 pounds, Susan, it'll be so much easier. So this house, I knew the $30,000 spread, at 24% tax bracket, I would owe $7,410. When it finally did go to auction, I made $44,326 without lifting a hammer. But at 24% tax bracket, I got to save over $10,000 in short-term capital gains and will never have to pay it back. Now, the Beneficial Spendthrift Trust saves you 5 taxes. On here, we only show 4 of them. Short-term capital gains are when you are wholesaling, fix and flipping, auction houses, tax liens, doing options trading, selling crypto, or if you're a forex investor. Interest income taxes are the same, 10% to 37%, depending on your tax bracket. If you are a passive investor in mutual funds, in a REIT, if you're doing subject to real estate, the BRRRR strategy, I now have notes where I'm the paper on the house. People pay me their mortgage every month. Seller financing, creative financing, and forex investors. Forex investors get taxed twice. Dividend income taxes. Maybe you're in the stock market, you're a day trader, you're a futures trader, you're a commodities trader, or you're living on dividends. I'm going to tell you a story about one of my clients, about he was 70 and she was 68, about IRMA surcharges later on in this, but they got to save $72,000 a year because they got the Beneficial Spendthrift Trust because he had done a very good job with dividend stocks. Rental income taxes. If you have short-term rentals like Airbnb, vacation rentals, 5 doors, 10 doors, 20 doors, 100 doors, maybe you're in multifamily, apartment buildings, commercial property, or you're doing Airbnb arbitrage. Yes, you can move a property with depreciation schedule into the trust to continue that. Yes, you can move a property with cost averaging into the trust. Besides saving taxes, remember your information is kept completely private. 40% of all LLCs, S Corps, and C Corps get sued every year, and all lawsuits become frivolous. So if the renter's dog gets out and bites the mailman, they can't come after the owner. The only one that's not on here is royalties, or if you have NFTs. So if you are an actor, an actress, a musician, an author, an artist, you're an NFTs, copyrights, patents, or intellectual property, you're taxed a little bit less, between 10% to 35%, 7 different tax brackets. Now, long-term capital gains are a year or more and are either 15 or 20% on profits. Jim, who was selling the family restaurant, it was a 42-year-old restaurant that Jim and his 2 brothers built. They were selling it as is for $3 million. On April 15th of 2024, at 15%, they got to save $450,000, or if it was at 20%, they got to save $600,000. Now, Jim had never been on Zoom. He asked me to call his business broker, Sam, because we had to change the contract. I called Sam. Sam's like, I'm going to make $30,000 on this deal, and I've got 3 more lined up. I need the business trust. I told Sam about my affiliate program. Sam calls Michael, who's buying this family restaurant. It's his 7th restaurant in 3 different states. Michael's like, how much are you going to save me? Over $92,000 in taxes. He started the business trust. Sam got to make an extra $1,000. Now, IRMA. This is for people who are 65 or older on Medicare. IRMA stands for Income-Related Adjustable Amount. Every October, the IRS goes back 2 years. October 2025, they went back to 1040 tax returns of 2023. They add everything together. How much you're getting from Social Security, how much you're getting from pensions, are you making any money, how much you're getting for 401k withdrawals, SEP withdrawals, capital gains, interest income taxes, dividend income taxes, rental income taxes, and royalty income taxes. If you're single, if you make more than $106,000 a year, or if you're married and make more than $212,000 a year, there is an IRMA surcharge on parts B and D of Medicare. Part B is doctor visits, tests, things like that. Part D is your prescriptions. The husband and wife I was telling you about, he didn't realize this, but both he and his wife were paying $591.90 each per month for IRMA, for Medicare. I could drop it down to $185 that everybody on Medicare pays, and she was so thankful for that. Now, if you would like to set up a 30-minute tax breakthrough session with me, it's www.thetrustisyou.com/scheduling. I do have a free class on the Great Discovery. It's my first name, my last name, squishtogether.com, where you're going to get a presentation like this one, 3 articles from Forbes magazine I did not write, 2 pages of case law so you can research this to your heart's content, and examples of clients saving thousands of dollars. I used to send that out by email, and I would jam up people's email addresses, so that's why I have a class on the Great Discovery. And you can also listen to it in 165 different languages. Let me stop recording. Give me 1 second.